100 towns and cities are taking part in the initiative, which has been backed by the government.
If this evening's rush hour was anything to go by, people either didn't know or didn't care that it was car-free day, part of a month of campaigning to encourage people to use other means of transport. But Glenda Jackson wasn't risking traffic jams. She was travelling by bus to open a new park and ride scheme in Reading.
People know that we can't go on the way we are, and it is how we set in train the kind of plans, schemes that facilitate that being able to leave the car at home, that also begins to get the move away from regarding roads as being the exclusive preserve of cars.
The government is supporting campaigns for more cycle lanes and better public transport. It's expected to penalise motorists with extra taxes on fuel and even roads in next month's budget. But environmental groups want more.
In the end, car-free days and publicity and so on is not enough, and we do need to be creating the right incentives so that people think that the logical thing to do is to travel by bus, to take the bike, rather than driving into work.
Alternatives like improving the underground need large investment, but the Chancellor won't allow extra public spending. Like the Conservatives, Labour's now having to look elsewhere. The new government has said it will reduce traffic and offer viable alternatives. It's set far tougher targets than the Conservatives for reducing pollution from cars. But already the search is on for finding the money to make this happen, and it's clear much of it will have to come from the private sector. Margaret Gilmore, BBC News, West London.
Thames Water, which is one of the...
Fraser Darling makes the short journey from prison to the courthouse cell in Phuket.
Where has he come from?
He first moved to the island nearly 5 years ago to teach English, but for the past 18 months has been in jail awaiting trial for sexually abusing local boys. It's claimed the boats moored along this beach were hired by Fraser Darling to take the children, some as young as 7, to a nearby island, where it's alleged he photographed them naked and abused them, something he denies. In the Sea Gypsy village where the boys live, poverty is a way of life. Fraser Darling was well known for buying school uniforms, books and a bike for local youngsters. This man says Mr. James is a good man, he gives us gifts, and he's not as bad as the other foreigners. But campaigners are worried by what they believe is a growing number of people who are travelling to the island because they see it as a haven for sex tourists.
We don't want Phuket to be a sex town. The tourists, whoever come to Phuket would come only looking for sex. That's not the kind of things we like to offer. And if this keep going and is being worldwide spread out, this is going to be very dangerous for the society as well.
The courts in Thailand are determined to end the country's reputation for turning a blind eye to the activities of sex tourists. And whatever the outcome, Fraser Darling's imprisonment and high-profile case is designed to send the message that the authorities are getting tough. Alison Holt, BBC News.
In South Africa, the leader of the Afrikaner resistance movement, Eugene Terblanche, has been sentenced to 6 years in prison after being convicted of attempted murder. The extreme right-wing politician was found guilty of trying to kill one of his black employees, Paul Mochabi, who suffered severe brain damage after being beaten.
Diana, Princess of Wales, has taken her campaign against landmines to the United States. She'll
demonstrate what's going on here. I have here a duck. Right.
It may not look like the cutting edge of technology, but tracking a rubber duck is helping design computers that work on different tasks at the same time, just like humans. It's this kind of research into the future of computing that's helped attract Microsoft to Cambridge. The company's founder, Bill Gates, one of the world's richest men, can well afford to do some future gazing, but this is the first time his company's looked outside America for ideas.
There are some brilliant researchers working in the UK and across Europe in computer science. We think it's very important for us in setting our research goals and objectives to be able to tap into the perspective and talent pool that is represented there.
We have BBC One.
The computer of the future may look very different from today's PC. No problem if you can't type, this one works with a pen. Closer links with Microsoft will help turn this kind of research into future products.
This is very exciting news indeed, and it's a reflection of people recognizing the talent we have in Britain, the talent to look 10, 20 years ahead.
The university has a long history of scientific breakthroughs. It was here almost 50 years ago that one of the world's first electronic computers was developed. The world's leading computer company now hopes to harness the university's expertise to keep it at the forefront of technology well into the 21st century. Christine McGurty, BBC News, Cambridge.
Well, now back to our main story. The result of the